Okay, hey everybody, happy Friday. I just want to go over these two example problems for you on how to write an equation of a parabola. So kind of the reverse of what we did yesterday. If you remember yesterday, what we did is we were given the equation and then we had to go ahead and find the focus and the directrix and make the graph. Today we're going to be given the graph and we're going to go ahead and do the reverse of it. So let's look at this first problem here, and I'll kind of walk you through it, and then we'll go over the second one a little bit quicker. All right, so basically we got to do three things here. The first thing we got to do is gather some information, and then the second thing we have to do is find the value of p, because that's important if you remember. And then the third thing we need to do is write the equation. So let's go ahead and do the first step. Let's go ahead and gather some info about this problem here. So there's really three pieces of info we can get. First of all, first piece of info we can get is that this parabola, it opens down. Okay, so let's write that down. Opens down. Okay, so since it opens down, we'll be able to go back to our reference table and pull up some information here. So let's go to this reference table, which we looked at yesterday. Now, we can pull out two things from this. First off, from the graph, we can see this one opens down, so we know that p is going to be negative. So that's one thing we can pull from that piece of information, that it opens down. Also, since it opens down, we know that we're going to use this equation right here, because this is the equation if it opens up or down in a vertical direction. So let's go ahead and write those things down. So we have a graph that's going to open down. We know that p is going to be negative. And we also know that our equation that we're going to fill in is going to be y equals 1 over 4p x squared. Okay? So we look at this equation right here. The only thing we have to fill in is a value for p, and we need to simplify things. So let's go ahead and find p. Okay, so how do we find p? Real simple, we count. If you remember, the distance of p is either from the vertex to the focus or the vertex to the directrix. Here we have a directrix and a vertex, so we can just count from the vertex, 1, 2, 3, to the directrix. Okay, so we know the distance from the vertex to the directrix is 3. However, we also know that p is negative because it opens down. So when you combine those two things, we just say p equals negative 3. Finally, we can write our equation. All right, so we know the equation has the form of y equals 1 over 4p x squared. We know that p is negative 3, so I'm just going to substitute negative 3 in right there. So we have y equals 1 over 4 times negative 3 x squared. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. So we put our negative out front, negative 1/12 x squared, and we are done. Not too bad, eh? All right, let's look at this one over here. Same process. Gather info. So this one opens up. So it's going to have p is going to be positive this time. Okay? Because if we look at this, opens up, p is positive. Okay? We're going to use the same form here. Now keep in mind, if you ever have one that opens left or right, you're going to use this form over here. That's the only difference. All right, p is positive. Our equation, y equals 1 over 4p x squared. Step 2, we're going to find p. And we're going to count once again. 1, 2, and a half. P equals 2.5. And then lastly, our equation. y equals 1 over 4 times 2.5 x squared. 4 times 2.5 is 10. Y equals 1 over 10 x squared. And there's our equation. And we're all done. Have a nice weekend.